Gali, meragali, speragali, nichta. No matter where in this wild, wacky, and sometimes wonderful world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. Don't say I don't do special things for you. Let's rock and roll.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Squad Central, show number 2 of a double bill Tuesday. And we are here and ready to wax lyrical about our Arsenal women. Joining me, as always, my co-host, my wingmen, Albert JTV and Demian Arriaga. Welcome back to Squad Central.
Hello, hello.
Thank you. Hello, hello, hello.
And also Squaddies in the house, but more importantly, and Squaddies, we're unable to get Vic on the screen due to a little technical glitch, but we do have him via phone. Mr. Vic Acres, Arsenal legend, welcome back to the Highbury Squad.
Good evening. Thank you.
We are so happy to have you back. Last time you were here, we had a good chat with Super Kev as well. And it's been a while, but Vic, what a journey. And you are the pioneer of women's football. We talked about that a lot the first time you were on the show. You were in Portugal. What was it like to see the Arsenal women do this a second time?
Yeah, it was obviously a special day, and the club kindly took me across, and it was special in the stadium as well, and very, very emotional in fairness, and I look forward to the game and wasn't disappointed. Previous Tuesday to the outgoing, I went to have lunch with a few of the girls that actually played in the 2007 game as guests, and we all had lunch. The main team ready as well. And it was lovely. I sat with a manager who I have a massive respect for now. And as I say, she was in our academy at one point, and it's amazing, really, that someone such as that has come through it all this way, and now taken over the team and done a fantastic job. And I was delighted that she was, very pleasant on the day and very forthcoming as to, to share her thoughts about the game as well. So near to it with me, that was very nice. And anything she wanted to hear from me, I told her so. And obviously that was really nice, and she accepted everything, and it was lovely interview with her.
Vic, what was the one thing about Renee that stood out to you? I know you had met Jonas as well. You've been around the club for so long.
No, I hadn't met Jonas.
Really?
It was one of the strange things about Jonas was he never ever made any inroads to meet up or say hello or anything.
Wow.
So that was, I don't know who told you that, but that's a myth.
Right.
Wow.
So he never went down well with myself, and obviously I didn't understand it. At one point, I went to make an FA presentation. The Euros were on, and the group game in Brighton. I went to watch the game and make a presentation to the player of the match, and I got out of my car in the car park, and I had a friend with me, and I said, "You watch this guy's not going to know me." I got out of the car and walked into the stadium, and he walked past me as I was getting out of the car, and didn't even know who I was, to be fair. So I thought, well, that's rather strange, but maybe acceptable from what it is. And yeah, never really got to meet the guy, and
Wow.
It's a bit of a disappointment for me. As soon as I met Renee, it was totally different. Again, I was doing a presentation on the pitch this season to one of the players who had made 150 appearances apparently, and she came straight across after the presentation, coming off the pitch via the warm-up, and made straight for me and shook my hand and said, "It's really nice to meet you, Vic." And it was a very pleasant sort of coming together, and I thought, what a difference, what freshness, like to have someone like that in charge of the team, and certainly sort of so much more outgoing, and it was a nice moment, and I respected her from that point on, and as I say, she's done a marvellous job in the club with the team, and to win the tournament such as that against a team that I thought were outstanding against Chelsea. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And to see them lose 4-1 is unreal, really, for the season that Chelsea have had.
Wow. Well, I tell you, our listeners and the Arsenal universe love you and recognize you. Absolutely shocking to hear that you know who you were, and it just underlines that the club made the absolute 100% right decision to go with Renee, Vic. Someone.
Yeah, Renee was, well, a breath of fresh air, as we say.
Yeah, totally. Albert, do you have a question for Vic? I mean, this is stunning stuff, really, when you look at the culture and the history and how Vic has been a trailblazer. And it just warms the cockles of my heart, really, to hear about Renee and how she understands the history. She's been there, like Vic said, he remembers her from back in the day.
She's been there since the start.
Yeah. Albert, fire off your question. And I'll...
Yeah. No, Vic, absolute pleasure to get to talk to you. I think it ties in nicely with what Vic just kind of said, actually, really. From the outside, Vic, in terms of sort of the back end of Jonas's time at Arsenal, and obviously Renee steadying the ship as interim, then getting the permanent job. What did you notice from the outside world in terms of how Arsenal were different, or what the playing style you saw? What was the subtle changes that you saw from Renee's Arsenal to Vic to Jonas's?
So, Vic, the question from Albert is, what were the differences that you noticed from Jonas and the team, and how they evolved into Renee? You know, even how they played, maybe attitude. What were the differences?
For me?
Yeah.
The biggest difference was that the girls played with a smile on their face, which I always love and to see, because I think that if they're playing with a smile on their face, they're happy in what they're doing. And I've not seen that under the previous manager. And always said that as well. But I don't see, there being that sort of connection. But under Rennie, obviously, she's come in there, and I've spoke personally to the girls that I know in the team that have been with me as well. Such as the two captains, and they both said how well she's done, and I said, well, you're playing with a smile on your faces, and that's lovely. She went, yeah. She said, we're enjoying it. So it's that's the answer to the question, really. I think she brought that sort of proper footballer back, and there's nothing like playing with a smile on their face, and I've always had that with my teams, and I think that's the way the game should be.
Yeah,
and I think you get much more out of your players as well.
Totally agree with that. Demian, what's your question for Vic? And you were one that you was always saying on the shows that they just don't seem happy under Jonas. But what question do you have? And I'll reiterate it to Vic.
Asking Vic Acres a question, Mr. Acres, is like asking Leonardo da Vinci a question. I'm overwhelmed, and I'm moved that he's here, and I'm honored to be here. And everybody knows how humble he is and what he has accomplished. And when he gets a compliment, he's always sort of deferring because he's such a nice guy, and it's beautiful to see. But taking it a little outside of Arsenal, yes, the growth has been unbelievable. The girls won again, but he has battled for women's football in general. And to see people like former guests of the show, Rachel Dugdale from Blackburn, and them basically not being able to play in the WSL and so on because of negligence from the club. Like, what else can we do? What else can be done? What does he see from his perspective that maybe is blatantly obvious or not? I'm just curious to know. I don't know how you're going to summarize this, but
I will summarize it. But firstly, Vic needs to know that you compared him to Leonardo da Vinci, being in the presence of Leonardo da Vinci. So I'm sure he'll enjoy that. Demian's question, Vic, who has been supporting, like Albert, men supporting the women's game, such a beautiful thing. He wants to know from you, what do you think kind of the club, if there's something missing at this point, or what they need to do? Is that right, Demian? What do you see that maybe the club can do even better going forward, and in terms of not only kind of within the league, the women's game? What's your sense of that?
Yeah, it's difficult really, because obviously we've just won the European Cup, and that's probably arguably the best trophy that you can win. And now it's happened twice, and both by 1-0 scorelines, and both teams being underdogs going into games, and arguably probably the team at the weekend were more underdogs than probably we were, and still managed to come out with a game plan from the manager that just totally immobilised Barcelona, which was an amazing feat after, as I said, the Chelsea results. So, to keep them to a clean sheet was an absolute masterpiece in terms of the manager.
Vic, do you think the next step for the club is, I think where Demian was coming from too, is you were such a pioneer, and the squad was the club pioneer in women's football. They led the way. We've seen Chelsea win a treble, dominate the league. Do you think and believe that Renee can change that in the league as well? What's your take on the league form?
I would like to think that she'll go from strength to strength now. Obviously, winning the major trophy should be easy pickings for the future sort of cups and league cups, FA Cups, and the league itself. I mean, I'd like to see us win the league itself next season. And on that performance, it is certainly gettable, and I think if anyone can do it, she can. With the right support, and I spoke to the assistant coach as well, who was an Australian guy, and said the same to him about the smiles and faces, and he totally agreed to that. That's one change that was needed.
Vic, we're not going to keep you long. I promised you just 10 or 15 minutes. Albert, did you have a follow-up for Vic real quick before we let him go? Quickie from both of you.
Yeah, just a quick one, Vic. What do you think it is that Arsenal, obviously a great triumph winning the Women's Champions League, but what do you think has been missing in the league this season?
Albert's question is a great triumph in the Champions League. What do you think was the missing ingredient in the league this season, Vic?
Well, I don't think we had the start that was necessary, but Renee wasn't in charge then. So, I mean, she's only had what, January, was it, something? Or
yeah.
The Jonas went? I think something like that. So she's only had a few months to actually go into that post and get her feet under the table, and look what she's done. She's won the best trophy in in the women's game.
Yeah.
And in the men's game.
Yeah.
So I think she's done as well as she can at this moment in time. I think she'll do better next year. I'm looking forward to going and watching them training, and which she's said is fine with her. That'll be nice, and to see the girls progressing and on the training pitch, that will be lovely. I look forward to that, and I'm sure that we'll all look forward to a fantastic season next year for the women and the men. Please God.
Definitely.
Me personally, you know, as I say, I do enjoy the fact that they're at the Emirates as well, which is wonderful. And I watched every game at the Emirates last year, girls' game, and hopefully will this year as well.
Love that. A quick one from you, Demian, before we let Vic go.
A little bit out, going back, as we all know, Dennis Bergkamp and Thierry Henry, maybe even possibly Patrick Vieira, used to help the women's game, whether paying their wages or something like that. I kind of want to know if he can give some insight into those amazing players that we hold near and dear to our hearts, how much they actually helped the players in the women's squad in general.
So Demian's question, Vic, is the past players that you worked with on the men's side. There were a lot of stories about how they used to help the women in the women's team, and maybe even financially. But what insights can you give as to the support that era, whether it was the Bergkamp era, of the support they've given to the women's team?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they were all interested in knowledgeable boys anyway, so about the game, but they're quite knowledgeable about the women's games, which surprised me and pleasantly surprised me, because obviously they had witnessed it firsthand. And you know, Thierry Henry at one point, I put that in the reports in the newspaper as well, that we were sat down coming in from training one day, and he was saying to me how he'd obviously watched the girls play, and he spoke to me and said, he said, I've only seen one girl that probably would be able to make it in the men's game. And I said, I know that is. And he said, who is it then? So I said, Kelly Smith. So he went, yeah, he said, that's right. He said, she's unbelievable in terms of ability and knowledge, like, you know. I said, yeah, she is. And I said, I was so disappointed, really, that she never ever got a Ballon d'Or for being the best player in the world. For me, she was. But obviously, she never ever got that accolade. And to this day, I still feel that she was and should have got that at some point in her career. Absolute. A player that was so far in advance. And I saw her play in the Wembley five-a-sides. I don't know if you may not even remember that. But, you know, girls' teams were in that at that point as well.
I remember that.
You wouldn't do. You're too young.
No, the five-a-sides at Wembley Arena, the Evening Standard.
Oh, you remember that?
Yeah. I went to a couple of those as well. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was a lovely tournament that sadly is no longer. But obviously the game's progressed so much now at the top level that you know, it's gone the way that obviously we hoped it all would when we started up in 87, 80, 88. You know, we were hopeful for this to come to fruition, but I really feel that it's gone beyond so quickly now. And with the money that's available to everybody, well, I say everybody, there are only still maybe 4 or 5 clubs at most that you know, can actually stay in the race for winning the championship. And, and it's probably the same in the men's football when I look at it and think, you know, well, there's only 5 or 6 or 7 in that, but maybe there's a few more in the men's now. But there's certainly no more than that in the women's. And I think that's where I did speak to the ladies at the FA as well. And I met them recently and just said that somehow you got to make that, close that gap, because it's all too easy between, the middle and bottom. And we're only playing 20 games in the league, us, and it's maybe not as competitive as I would like personally, because it's all good when you see smaller clubs improving and financially improving, and I think the only way out of that is to bring in the rules for women rather than for men, because we only play 20 odd games, and yet we still have the rules that a girl can't play for another club, or can play for another club on loan, but they then can't play against their parent club, which is ridiculous. Because obviously the teams that are taken, and I quote really the last year's cup final, the girl midfield player there that couldn't play for Tottenham because she was a signed player for Man United, so she couldn't play in the cup final. So it worked out reasonably well for her this year because she could, and she's played for England, Grace Clinton, and that don't make sense to me, because we're not progressing the girls that are actually matter to us, that they're England internationals. Don't not play in those sort of games. I mean, she must have been shattered last year when that happened, and there's certain rules that I would like the FA to sort of consider and look at that don't really make a difference to us. They obviously think they make a difference to the men's game. I personally don't think it should be relevant in the men's game either. But it is, and it's a rule. And I just felt for that girl to think that she may never play in the cup final. Fortunately for her, she had, because Man United got in there again this year. So she's managed to play. But certain issues like that, I would love to put forward to the FA and see if they can't look at that in general, because obviously we're not supporting financially enough the teams below the top four.
Totally.
And if we
agree.
don't do that, they're never gonna get to the levels that we want them to now.
Still a trailblazer. Still trying to change the women's game. So I lied when I said that was the last question. I cannot let you go, Vic, without a couple of words on. There's a fantastic picture of Leah Williamson as a mascot in 2007.
That's right.
Yeah, and then also Kim Little as well, who long-serving, absolute legend of the game, getting her hands on the trophy. A quick one about Leah, who, has just become an icon of the club. And of course, Kim, who, represents everything that I know that you have wanted the club to be.
Absolutely. I told her that as well in the after party that I met up with Kimmy and spoke with Kelly Smith. I spoke with afterwards, and I said to Kim, that I felt that she'd had a fantastic season and was playing as well as she's ever played. And I took her in at 17, so that was, it seems many moons ago now, but she doesn't seem to have changed, and her performances have probably got better with age, and I'm so pleased for her. And obviously the same with Lee. I mean, I thought she played excellent on the weekend, and it gave them no opportunities to get shots in, and made a few blocks and made one or two good tackles around the box. So, and everything went right for us, and I was delighted, and still am. And obviously the fact that Arsenal won it again, no other club has won it other than Arsenal. Long may that be.
Brilliant stuff. Mr. Vic Acres, the absolute legend of Arsenal Football Club. From Albert, Demian, the listeners, myself, thank you so much for coming on in your spare time. And it's wonderful, again, to hear your voice and to hear your opinions, thoughts, and your stories as well, Vic. We really appreciate you.
My pleasure, Sophie, and for all the gooners out there, have a good summer, and let's rub our hands ready in July, ready for the takeoff again. And let's hope we're as successful as we've been this year, and maybe a wee bit more in the men's, because the girls have produced a trophy, and the boys haven't at the moment. So hopefully we can do something about that next year.
Hear, hear. Thanks a lot, Vic. I'll be in touch soon for another chat.
No problem.
Okay, lots of love. Take care. Bye-bye. I just got off the phone with Vic Acres.
No big deal. No big deal.
I mean, how good was that?
I got...
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Go on, Demian.
No, please. I defer to you.
I need a break on my arms.
No, what I will say is time and time again, and I'll speak for Albert, we are put in a position of gratitude towards you, Sophie, for allowing us to be part of this space that now I can say that I've spoken to many times with Kevin Campbell, and I've spoken one time with Vic Acres. And the reality is that very few people get to do that. So you've brought that to me and to Albert and to James Johnstone and to so many people that we love that are part of this community that you have built single-handedly. So I want to thank you for this type of opportunity that it wouldn't happen without you. The same way that Arsenal Women wouldn't have happened without him, these kinds of things wouldn't have happened without you. So I appreciate that, because like I told you guys on our chat, this was like the equivalent of a podcast of winning the Champions League. Is having Vic Acres on an Arsenal Women podcast. That's like the holy grail. That's it. Who else are we going to have? Sorry, next guest. We love you, but you're not Vic Acres. So I just want to thank you. I want to thank you. I'm overwhelmed. I'm, full of goosebumps and also incredibly angry.
Oh, wait, hold on to that for just a second.
Yes.
Just, that's the first thing we're going to, Jamie just wrote, I think you guys just got a scoop.
Yeah.
But Albert, firstly, listening to Vic.
Yeah, listen, when certain people talk, you listen, and Vic is definitely one of those people. And it ties in with kind of what I think me and Demian spoke about this a while ago with the women this season when we played BK Hacken. I think you sent it to me because obviously Arsenal put out snippets in terms of like a team talks or when you win certain games. And Jonas was talking to the Arsenal players on the pitch. And this was after the game. And I'm no body language expert, so if you're Demian or people in the chat, but I thought it was palpable. I think it spoke volumes, and it touched on what Vic was saying, who gave us some serious tea, man. It just goes to show. Go on, Sophie. Go on.
I was going to say, can I set that up a little bit?
Yeah, go on, Sophie.
So, firstly, how dare he? Like, who? It's made my blood boil.
Mm.
It really
has. Your jaw
has.
dropped. Your jaw dropped.
I was going to say to Vic that my jaw dropped, but my mind was just going in.
I could see your reaction. There was some people in the chat said exactly what you just said, Sophie.
The fact that he didn't ever connect with Vic Acres. You know what? Demian had him right from the get-go. Yeah. He said there's something off about this guy. Credit to Demian. And even when we won the Continental Cups and stuff like that, he's not the right guy. He doesn't feel like he has the culture. At least, with Mikel, it lives, eats, breathes, spits, drinks Arsenal Football Club. If there's one thing you cannot like, if you don't like Mikel, you cannot say that about him. And then when he said the fact that Vic set it up, he's not going to know who I am. He's just going to walk right past me.
Yeah.
My mind is absolutely blown. Let's talk about that first. Before then, I love how he talks about Renee. I just love it. But Demian, this is mind-blowing.
even though I had sort of thoughts about Jonas, this was so beyond anything I could have ever imagined. Like, I would assume that the first thing you do as a manager for Arsenal Football Club, you get there and you're like, okay, how can I get in touch with Vic Acres? Can you please get me his email? Can you set up a coffee or a tea meeting or lunch, please? That's like the first thing that you should do. And the fact that he never did, and who knows, he might know. I don't think Jonas is that stupid to not know who Vic Acres is. So my thought is that he did it on purpose, right? I wouldn't put it past him that he was like, oh, I'm just not going to talk to this guy. And I feel very disrespected. It's when, like, the video that we saw with him pushing Viv, right? The same way that I got so angry and so disappointed. And that is just an insult, regardless of my feelings, regardless of his results as manager. He could have won the damn Champions League and the treble and quadruple again. But if he did that, or he didn't do that, he didn't say hi, he didn't know who he was, and I think that is the complete... It's like, I don't know what bigger insult there is. And Albert, you're a connoisseur of this football club. You're a historian of Arsenal. I know James is in the chat as well. Please tell me how this is not a million times worse than, I don't know, Ashley Cole or somebody playing for Tottenham or whatever.
100%.
I am so, like...
It actually makes me root for Emma Hayes now in that scuffle.
Oh, absolutely. She knew what she was talking about. She knew what, she knew what she was talking about.
She did. She won't probably come out and say it, but she did test it.
She did.
You could tell. Because the thing is, Sophie and Demian, we've seen a lot of coaches who carry that swagger, and there's an element of arrogance to it. Don't get me wrong. But there's arrogance, and as it was put in the chat, not embracing the history and the folklore of the club. And Vic Acres is that. So for him to sort of tell us what he told us on Highbury Squad tonight, and Demi, you said it beautifully. Like, you had your reservations about him when we won that Conte Cup last season. I'm like, this something is still off. This isn't right. But Vic's confirmed it at 10 times over what this man is really like.
I mean,
I use that term very loosely.
And Albert, you were talking really quickly, the body language. I'm assuming you're alluding to that huddle where nobody was even looking at him in the eye, right? Okay,
you could tell it was. I thought, nah, these players are not playing for him, and absolutely they are not happy. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a body language expert, but when I saw that, and I'm thinking that's quite early in the season, and if you've got the players at that level thinking like that already, they're not going to publicly come out and say it, but you don't need to. You can see it.
Did I miss something? Have you read this anywhere? This thing with Jonas? Have you guys heard?
No, I never heard of that.
No.
And actually, somebody would have told me, aside from Vic Acres himself, I would have been like, there's no way that he would have done it. Right? Like, think about it. Let's just putting our reservations with Jonas aside, you wouldn't put it. It's like Amorim not talking to Sir Alex Ferguson, or somebody, if Wenger was still around. Like, that's what do you do? These are people that are, and by the way, not just Arsenal. There are historic managers and important managers in other clubs as well, whether there might be Everton or Brighton or whomever, that the previous managers are owed some sort of respect, and you would want to have a humble enough manager to James is cracking me up. I completely lost my train of thought, but I would guess that you want a manager that's humble enough to respect the history of the club, enough to acknowledge not just the GOAT, but just anybody. So it just irks me, and I'm just peeved by the whole thing. And
unbelievable.
It really is.
We none of us could believe it. I went like this. Albert was like shaking his head. Your jaw was dropped. Like, your jaw.
Should have had one of the pictures on screen.
I was going from screen to screen, looking at Sophie Demian. I was like, oh my.
Your jaw was like below the mic.
I mean, he is the kindest. And listen, his history at Arsenal Football Club. Yes. I know that David Dean gets a lot of credit, and rightly so, in terms of the history of Arsenal women. and Wenger recognized Vic. I put this picture up a few times. Super Kev just used to, when the two of them were on together, and it's in our Legends segment, by the way, guys, along with Paul Davis and other players from other clubs like Peter Reid. You'll love going back and listening to those conversations. I mean, he had Vic on such a massive pedestal, you know, and he is the kindest guy, and you see him, and you see. I forgot to ask him about Maria. I wanted to ask him about Maria, but I wanted this more to be about kind of his history and stuff like that. And we haven't really spoken about Maria. Maybe we could do that at the end. But this is, to me, someone who is a symbol. You know, there's a lot of conversations all the time about statues. And I signed a petition. I sent it to you guys. You signed a petition to get Vic recognized at the Emirates. The fact that there even has to be a petition makes me so angry. And I just feel that if someone deserves a statue, a section, some type of physical presence of what he's done for this football club. And if it wasn't for him, young women, young men, you see young men, families going to the games. And like he mentioned the Emirates and what it means to him, you know, from Boreham Wood to the Emirates, watching the women. We're playing the most games. There's a reason why so many fans showed up, and no other club can do this. I talked about it with you guys. This is unbelievable. And I mean, it's just really special. And Albert, you were there for the celebrations, sending us great videos. Just really give us a sense, and the history there, you can feel it. And I loved him. I was going to forget, and I thought, got to ask him about Kim Little and Leah. And I got that in at the end. But Albert, give us a little bit of a summary of yesterday and what it meant and what it felt.
Yeah, no, thank you, Sophie. Yeah, first is amazing. But I think for me, I think what I've noticed sort of growing up and being a lover of sport, I think the best way I can sort of quantify it really, I'm a big athletics fan. And when you win and you win big, i.e. gold medal, Olympic gold medal, I look at someone like Keely Hodgkinson and winning 800 meters, golden girl, commercial deal. She's face of athletics kind of thing. But I think yesterday for me being there highlighted how important it is. It's great to have progression and have brilliant players at your club, but to get over the line in the biggest competition you can win, and it was reflected yesterday by the people that turned up. I mean, I said to both of you in the chat, sort of when you're in the crowd, you can obviously see there's a lot of people around, but from an overhead kind of picture point of view, from a helicopter kind of view, when you really saw what it's like when I got home, I was like, wow, like this is special. And it was amazing. So, I mean, what I noticed as well by the Arbory, if anyone goes to Arsenal, you got two massive trees there, and they completely obliterate. They're cutting them down so we could see everything. But no, it was amazing. Some of the songs for the players. I think sometimes at the moment you're happy when you watch the game, but just to see the turnout, and fair play to some of the guys that went to Lisbon and came for that turnout. Some of the people that went, Sophie and Demian, were there from about 6-7 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. Just
to make sure they was at the front where the armory was. But it was absolutely amazing. I think if shout out to Katie McCabe. I knew it'd be box office. I knew it'd be box office to hear her speak, but even I wasn't prepared for what I saw. That was top class. But Renee's voice was completely gone, but it's understandable. But the feeling and the joy, and also the weather held out, which was a great help as well. But it's amazing how quickly the turnaround can be from, you know, the lead up to the final, Arsenal actually winning, and then getting the parade or the trophy lift done. It's a shame it couldn't be a bus parade, but obviously Tom explained this on your show yesterday, Sophie, how the logistics, how it works. But yeah, being there was amazing, absolutely amazing. And to see the trophy in the flesh as well, man. It's a beautiful trophy, by the way. God, man. I wanted to jump up there and just hold it, but I couldn't. That's why I took the pictures. But no, it was the amazing experience. Obviously, when they called the players out, you cheer everyone, and like the songs just were playing, and great set by the DJ, by the way, as well. But yeah, absolutely amazing, Sophie and Demian. It was brilliant to be there.
Yeah, we love it, and we lived vicariously through you.
Yeah.
We were very, very jealous. I haven't been jealous at any point this season, other than not being at the final and then not being at the celebrations. And I have to say, I've been a part of a couple of celebrations of the US Women's National Team World Cup parades and stuff like that. And it's really, it's really for the fans and connecting the players with the fans. And that connection yesterday was really a beautiful thing. I'm so proud of our fans for showing up for our women all season. They've been absolutely brilliant. On the men's side as well, even when things weren't going well, we showed up. We definitely showed up. There's that picture I mentioned to you guys yesterday that Albert caught of Tom. Copyright Albert JTV right there. Let me get some questions for you guys. We're 40 minutes in, right? So we've got some questions. Remember, if you have questions for the boys, we're going to be on here for another 15 or 20 minutes. So get your questions in. Put a Q in front of it, please. Demian, for you from Cross Jonky. It's one of my favorite.
That's a just chef's kiss of a name.
Who's been? Oh, I think this is an easy one.
Daphne van Domselaar for me.
Ooh,
actually. Yeah.
That's
the way she just calms. Just very simple. The way that I think calms everything down for everybody. Every player plays better when she is there. So for me, she's the signing of the season. Because Caldente, she could provide goals and so on, but she can't stop them. Whereas Daphne has stopped many a goal and kept us in the Champions League and, of course, in second place for the WSL. So that she gets my signing of the season.
Albert, from you, real quick.
Oh, this Mariana Caldente, absolute game changer. I called it a couple months ago. She's got a good chance of being WSL Player of the Year and Arsenal Player of the Year. She got both. And she's a Champions winner. Hat-trick. Amazing. Game changer.
And Champions League Team of the Year, right?
Yeah. 7 goals. Brilliant.
She won the third one in a row. They didn't. That's so classic. I love it.
Did. No, she's been again, and I think someone put something in the chat in terms of recruitment, which I'm sure you'll touch on.
Yeah. Yes, there's a couple. Hold on one second. Let me star these ones as well.
Big up Chloe Kelly, by the way. She went to the toilet and I said, "It's amazing."
Oh my God! How have I missed that? How have I missed that? Where's my Chloe Kelly pic? Oh, I didn't upload it.
Yeah,
really?
That was brilliant.
Oh man, I didn't upload the Chloe Kelly pic. I'm very upset about that.
When the Red Sox won a couple of times in Boston, I was living like a block away from Fenway Park, and they would go, the players celebrating, they would go to these pubs or bars like normal people, and the place would just shut down. It's
brilliant when I love it when they do that.
Madness. And actually, Soph, I think maybe Aaron Ramsey came to the Fox and Hounds in Studio City with
yes,
Taylor.
He did. Yeah,
I think maybe Hector Bellerin and a couple other players, maybe Theo Walcott, I think. But obviously, this doesn't come close to post Champions League celebration. And to echo what Sophie said, Albert, I'm so happy that you got to live that and that we got to experience that through you and through your prism, because we all sort of live and feel Arsenal in a very, very similar way. We have very, very similar ways of digesting Arsenal and football in general. So this felt closer than it was somebody that, we don't agree with in our views being there. So I love that for you, and thank you.
Can I quickly share something? Sorry. Sorry, was you gonna fire a question? I'm gonna quickly say something.
No, go on, because I'm bummed that I didn't load these pictures, so I'm going to do that right now.
Because I was before obviously coming on. I saw an article piece from Jonathan Liu in the Guardian. I think it must have been the day after the final. I'm sure it was. I'm going to read a couple bits he put in terms of how this is going to transcend at Arsenal. Let me see if I can find it, Sophie. There's 2 parts. I'm going to read the first bit pretty quickly if I can find it. He said, Arsenal are European champions. Those 4 small words now define how this club sees itself. How these players step onto the pitch, how opponents treat them, how prospective signings view the project. For Little, for Williamson, for Blackstenius, for Renee Sleggers, and for Claire Wheatley, the director of women's football, and the Arsenal board, it is a form of vindication that will sustain them in the toughest moments. Each of them will walk a little bit taller on Sunday morning. It's a great piece, the whole piece by Jonathan Liu. And there's another bit as well, which I'll come to. But Sophie, far away.
Yeah, no, he's really good. He is very, the way his writing is expressive. But where is that? Damn, it doesn't want to upload this picture of Chloe Kelly. Hold on one second. Give me a shot. I'm not leaving her behind. No woman left behind. Because here it is. Okay, and here's a question for you guys. There's a few of them, so I'll basically, would you keep Chloe Kelly? Would you sign Chloe Kelly? Tammy asks it. Mr. Wesbird asks it as well. What are your thoughts, Demian?
Just based on how much she loves the club and how she speaks about Arsenal, sign her up. I don't care if she has no legs. I love her attitude. I love her gratitude towards Arsenal. And of course, as a player, she's unbelievable, and sign her up yesterday.
Albert, real quick from you. Yeah.
Yeah, we spoke a few months ago. If someone like that was available, we should get him, and she did. We got her in January. Brilliant signing. Great story.
You were calling for that. Yeah. I'm giving you guys kudos tonight for all your calls, by the way.
And our interview after the final was it spoke a lot. Her Instagram post she posted, that she weren't in a good moment, and she said, Renee Sleggers, what a woman. So yeah,
it was. I love that comment, by the way. I love that. All right, here's the next question. We'll start with Albert on this one. With the pool of women from Bill, with the pool of women available for transfers compared to the men, who should the club go and get this summer? And let me couple it with, oh, damn, someone's going to be mad at me. Oh, Cross Junkies, the same. Who are the ladies signing this season?
I quickly looked at our team, actually. I've always said about us, in terms of names, I'd have to sort of get back to you, but I think one thing I've said in sort of this season is that I think Arsenal, they lack a bit of pace, a little bit of physicality. If I'm looking at one player, actually, who she's quickly just top of my head, I love the girl at Liverpool. Is it Olivia Smith, the winger?
Oh, she's so good.
Yeah, that's a serious player. I mean, for example, you could have her out wide, move Caldente maybe into the 10, or there'd be so many options if you bought a player like that to Arsenal. And yeah, I just think Arsenal a bit more pace in the side for me, and maybe a look at the midfield area.
She's a very good player.
She is.
Demian?
I say we go for Aitana Bonmati. Go all out. Blockbuster. Make it happen. Don't settle for anything like the next so-and-so. Nope, I'm not interested. We just won the Champions League. Get the player now.
Get Mariona on the phone.
That's a great point, because in that piece that Jonathan Liu was saying, in terms of the effect of Arsenal winning, it's players looking at the project. Because we've had something tangible.
Hold the mayo there, because Lone Star asks a great question. Does this win make Arsenal the destination club for the best young players? But also what you're saying, they're superstar players, Albert.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw a piece, I've just gone out of my head. But no, it kind of touched on what I was saying. Sorry, Sophie, I've been distracted. Yeah, so Lone Star, hopefully this answers kind of your question, but it does make a difference. Like I said, when you win and you win big, players see that. To get someone like the class of Mariana Caldente, and I've mentioned this before the Champions League final, Arsenal have got 4 trophies in 8 years. That's not good enough for for a club like Arsenal. Obviously, I always say this, Sophie and Dem, you heard me say it in regards to the men's team. Yes, it's fantastic to win your domestic league, and I hope Arsenal can sort that out next season. But when you win in Europe, and on top of that, to be the only English club to win a Champions League in the women's game, that counts for everything. And Sophie, just to finish up before I saw another piece that Jonathan Liu was saying, was that for Arsenal, this changes everything. There will be the parade on the Monday and a mural on the side of the Emirates. There will be award ceremonies and tie and merchandise. There will be functions and reunions. Over time, Lisbon 2025 will take place in the club's mythology. As surely Park in 2007, White Hart Lane in 2004, and Anfield 1989. That's how big it is. Like, don't underestimate what these ladies done and who they beat to get to the final and to win it. It's massive.
Against Lyon and Barcelona, crazy. Jamie's making it clear who she'd like to sign. Arana, Chastity Grant from Villa, another one. Diani, says Matt, please.
I like Selma Basha from Lyon, left back. She's fast. Her left foot is unbelievable. But Albert, let
me just say, Mr. Wesbird's Oberdorf from Wolfsburg awesome. As well. Go on, Demian.
I think she might have had an ACL injury. Oberdorf,
possibly,
I think. I think the first.
Has she recovered from that?
I don't know. I don't even know if it's.
Google it, please.
I think it might have been even before she played a game for Wolfsburg. Maybe. I'm not positive. But Albert,
you're right.
Mr. Emily Fox. Who the hell can we buy that gets your girl some time off, man?
Firstly, I have to give a shout out to Emily Fox, man.
Jesus Christ. Just bring this picture up again.
She killed it.
Sophie and Demian will vouch for me how much I appreciate Emily Fox. And actually, and I think Tommy even mentioned it, that her performance actually defensively, Arsenal were brilliant, but in the final, she was excellent.
Yes.
Even though there was a moment in the watch log where she got the ball in the right back position, and she absolutely roasted two of their players. I said, "Cook them, Emily, cook them." But yeah, she's been amazing. Great signing. And
do you remember when I got tasked with a question in the US women's presser, and I said to her, "Emily, the Gooners have fallen in love with you," and she was like my jaw dropped with what Vic said. Yeah. She was like, and obviously Sammy Kofi was loving it too, but the way these players, there's still a purity about the women's game. There's still this magic thing that is football, and I love that. And I loved her reaction. She's been a phenomenal signing. She really has. But you're right, Demian.
I worry she needs somebody, and we can't let the dip in quality be a thing. And Lone Star mentioned something about is this the destination for young players? I don't know if I want Arsenal to be the destination for young players. I want established players, and maybe we bring players for the academy. But I don't think this is any longer like a project like 5 years from now or 4 years from now. This is it. We did it. We did it. And Albert talks about this all the time. The club needs to give fans ammunition. And this is it. The players just gave the club ammunition. The club now needs to sort of keep that cycle going. I love when Albert says that, because it makes me just think about it so much deeper than anything I can come up on my own.
I agree.
But it's a great question, Sophie, because when we see the likes of it, made me feel sick when I saw Germa go into Chelsea.
Yes.
Yeah, I hated that.
Yeah. What about you win 5 titles in a row and you buy Kira Walsh and Lucy Bronze?
And Lucy Bronze.
Winners. Like robotic serial winners. They've won everything. They're tired of winning.
Yeah, recruitment's going to be.
This is why I think it's important to keep Chloe. Okay, do some quick fire ones. Yeah, TikTok.
I know what you're trying to say.
I know what you said as well.
Demsek, who moves to allow for some of these signings?
Some are going already, aren't they? Hertig's going.
Amanda's going.
Ilestedt. There's been some tough decisions to be made, man. We're going to see what Renee's like in terms of who she wants, who she doesn't want. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Rosa Kafaji. Who knows?
Sophie, don't look at me. Don't look at me. I know what you're doing.
Jamie, don't say it. Jamie, don't do that.
As that comment went up, and that's like the little brother that like hits the sibling and knows that the mom is looking and just goads the sister to punch them back so she gets in trouble. That's what Sophie did to me. She saw the name Viviana Miedema.
I'll switch gears real quick. I'll switch gears real quick because this No one wants to see Beth Mead go.
No. You have to be an absolute
She's an asset,
psycho.
though. You know how we talk about the men's team, though? Sometimes you have to sell players that you're totally in love with. To me, she's part of that heartbeat of the club. And, you know, seeing the scenes for her, I love this image with her and her dad.
Yeah.
Arsenal through and through, just beautiful. But there have been some, because she's been in and out of the side. Hopefully not.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, it'd be interesting to see where it goes next season, because I don't think she's guaranteed a first team start. I think that's been proved this season, because she started the first leg against Lyon in the semi-final, but there's games where she's been on the bench. I don't necessarily think that's been to save her legs or because she's out. I don't know. I think she might be a bit more of a rotational player next season.
I would say that depending on the system, if Renee keeps the same system, maybe it'll be hard. But by the way, I think she's a better player than Caitlin Ford. I would have her over Ford anytime. And I would love to see Beth maybe more in a central role, either as a 9 or as a 10. I think she's a better footballer than Frida Manum, for example.
Yeah.
More resourceful. She does have the pass. Frida might shoot from outside the box. So can Beth. So I would love to see her involved more with maybe if Caitlin were to stay and play, Caitlin, Chloe, Alessia as a 9, and maybe Beth a little bit behind. I would love to see that, to be honest with you. Of course, I would keep her at the club. No brainer. If I would start her, of course, I would keep her at the club.
I did put a pick up earlier of the Aussie contingent.
Oh, look at that. Brilliant.
Like, just because, again, this is really special for them, man. I mean, they're international teammates together, and you know, it's a really great picture of the 3 Gooner Aussies and stuff. But I don't know. I mean, it could be a season where, I mean, Josh Kroenke being there, I think, was really good.
Interesting, very good.
And it could be a season where we lose a few players that we really like in order to get the coffers in. And let's see. A couple more quick questions. Valeria, what is the potential of our team in the WSL next season? Chelsea have won it a lot more than we would have liked. Congrats to the girls. Good question. Who wants to go first on this one?
Ooh, Demian, go on.
I would say the signings have to be of quality. So when we rest Daphne Van Domsler or Kim Little or Steph Catley or Leah Williamson, we're not left with people that might not be up to Arsenal standards. Let's just put it that way, not naming any names. So we just need to raise the level up consistently, day in, day out, for every cup game and every WSL game.
Love that. Albert, this one for you. Do you think the women should play all the games at the Emirates, either when men... By the way, I'm sick and tired of major women's games having other big matches coinciding. I think this needs to stop. I know it's impossible. Football is 365 now. But go on, Albert. Do you think they should play all the games at the Emirates? Or maybe not just yet.
Not
Keep
not
it a little
just,
hungry.
I think that feel of going to Meadow Park, not just yet. But it's good to see that there was more games, obviously, this season than there probably has been ever at the Emirates. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Demian, he's saying it to Albert, but I had to put it in here because it's a North London Forever Tears, he's not a fan of the song, so I just put that up for you, Morgie. But we love that you loved this moment. And here's another one for Demian. LWM.
Well,
another one of his favorites.
I am a firm believer that we should have Lotte Wubben-Moy play right back and try her outside and not center.
Well, there's your backup for Emily Fox.
Katie Reed's not ready, is she, really?
Yeah, I don't think she's ready yet, but no. I would love to see Wubben-Moy given a chance there. I think she has the tenacity. I think she has the drive. She always gives 110%. And yeah, but as far as chances over Steph Catley, probably my player of the season, absolutely none whatsoever.
Yeah. Ford was brilliant in Lisbon, by the way. I put the pass by Beth. Oh, my God. It was delicione. Love these girls. We do too. One from Wesbird. Does the women winning the Champions League put more pressure on Arteta to win silverware next season? Yes or no?
Absolutely,
Robert?
yes.
That's
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
And it should.
Yeah, it should. Let's see. I have another one over here. A goalkeeper to replace Manu. Just like to call her Zinzi personally.
I'd have to do my homework, man. Demian and goalkeepers.
Well, Southampton's goalkeeper, no?
There's a certain Mary Earps, making some waves.
Yeah, that's a big talking point, man. yeah.
I like Engen from Lyon. I just think she's unbelievable, but I don't think we're gonna get her at all.
Good question.
Yeah,
it's a good question. Yeah, we'll do some more homework on that one for sure.
Don't hesitate.
Let's see. I don't want to miss anyone's question. We've already gone over the hour mark. The Virgo in me is going crazy. But you know what? Our women's show deserves it. There's a lot to
Hey, I
to
got
say.
time. I got time. Last time we stretched, we got like a bunch of new followers. So
let's see. I'm missing a couple here, but I have a couple for you guys. Demsek. Sorry, I forgot. Thank you, Demsek. I think yours is the one I accidentally deleted. Could Kim Little retire? Vic just said she's playing some of her best football.
She signed a contract extension, didn't she?
Yeah.
For another year, Dem? It's another year, isn't it?
But when you win the big one, sometimes you want to go out with a bang.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is it could or should? I think if we're to give a little pushback to the question, no, she shouldn't. And could she? Why would she? Like, she's playing. I'm sorry. She is better on a bad day than anybody else on the bench on their best day. And I'm sorry, I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. There was a moment in time where certain factions of this fan base were thinking that Victoria Pelova and or Kira Cooney-Cross were better than Kim Little. And there are some people that we all know that claim that online. Boy, were they wrong, and they continue to be wrong. Kim Little is a historic player that shows no signs of slowing down. I think the times where she has been not at her best, it's because she has been played really far down the pitch where she hasn't been able to create, right, Albert? And you were the one that brought that up to my attention maybe 3-4 months ago when there was a little dip where there was a lot of rotation going, maybe during Jonas Eidevall time, actually. So...
yeah, I agree with Cross.
That's a great shout, by the way. That's a great shout.
Yeah. By the way, the judge, who do you support? And thank you for the congratulations. And forgive me if I've forgotten that you're a Barcelona fan, but it's so funny because during the watch along, I started saying Hansen's hardly been in this game, and then in the second half, it was like, why did I even say? And I bought Matty as well.
Be quiet, so. But I think that's what she does. That's what she does. It's a good thing we're having these conversations, but I think the key thing is you can be a big club, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to attract big players. But it makes a difference when you get it over the line. And it's a Champions League, man. Yeah. Of course players are going to want to come. They're going to want to come to the WSL. Look at what Mariana Caldente said. She said, winning the World Cup in Spain, it did nothing. Sorry. It did nothing.
The squaddies are jaw-dropping as we're talking. Yeah. Yes. Great now these are the types of signings. Like, let's go get this. Let's get another quadruple.
And also, we need some variety, let's just say, in our club. The whole whites and all situation, we need some people of color. We need some Latinas. We need some African players. We need some French players. We need,
talking point, Arsenal,
they're unbelievable and they're as good, better, whatever.
Great shout. Olivia Smith, Caicedo, one of the two.
Parayuelo, who's an unbelievable player. I love, any other players for Lyon. Katoto, that we could have signed from PSG. She went over to Lyon. We need... And Michelle Aguiman, by the way, I love the celebrations, how they had Taya Goldie, obviously, Jen Beattie, past players. And, of course, shout out to Jordan Knobs and other players that were a massive part of this team that were there, that lived it. But Michelle Aguiman, I'm so excited about her. I would love to see her come back.
She got another season at Brighton. Or
I don't know. I
that
really don't know.
goal for England though. Jesus Christ. Man.
Yeah, that was like
flipping hell.
I just got my popcorn. Just get some popcorn and listen to these two just go out. You guys have mentioned. Listen, maybe you should be the new directors of football.
She's amazing.
No,
like,
no.
Like if you told me Stina is moving on, instead of like going crazy to sign a number 9, I would say I think Michelle Agyeman has a lot of potential. Now
I like you. I like you a lot. And you know what? Just a reminder to everyone that as kind of, we always have little complaints here and there, what the judge says here about Manchester United being in a total mess, the way they've treated staff and all of that jazz. It's, we're very lucky. This is what I mean. As bad as you think the Cronkies are, just take a little look over your shoulder, look at what's happened to Manchester United and Chelsea. And I hate that we can't slap Tottenham anymore because they've actually won a trophy. Even though many of you think it's a nothing trophy, but it's definitely come in handy. Right. What is your closing statement to the Gooner universe, Demian and Albert? I think, Albert, we'll start with you this time. Your closing statement to the squaddies and the Gooner universe at large.
Sophie,
anything you didn't say, sorry. Anything you didn't say, make sure you say it, or I didn't ask. Go on.
Yes, Rennie Slegger's youngest ever manager to win the Champions League, female manager. Fantastic. But no, Sophie, thank you for having me on. It's been a blast this season. Probably my first full focus on the Arsenal women's team this season. Couldn't be happier to get one over the line because the way the season was going, particularly after that cup defeat to Liverpool, that was a bit of a dagger in the heart. But to go and get this one over the line, amazing. And like I said, winning the biggest trophy or the biggest trophy puts you on the map and it elevates the club, and rightly so. We've got a top manager who's done it in 7 months. Incredible. She's got a nucleus of players that she can work with. Arsenal are a very attractive club in terms of getting better players at the club. When you're always strengthen from a position of strength, 100%. But yeah, big up to the chat as well, and Sophie for allowing me to do the watch along. It was fun, man, and we got there in the end. But Sophie, love you to pieces. Keep doing what you're doing. The guests you get on the channel are absolutely top notch, first class, amazing, different variation. And me and Demian will definitely continue to push the Arsenal women's. And yeah, love you guys to pieces, man.
Epic. Demian, over to you.
I will say, again, love to you, Albert, and to you, Sophie. Love you guys so very much. My thought is with the players. I am so happy that their hard work and their dedication and the love for the Arsenal, putting up through ups and downs, through clearly a person like Jonas, they did it and they kept going, and the universe has rewarded their fight, their grit, their determination, their love for the Arsenal with a trophy. Kim Little won a Champions League. Katie McCabe has a Champions League. Steph Catley has a Champions League. Leah Valti has a Champions League. Manu Zinsberger has a Champions League. Beth Mead has a Champions League. Like the OGs, the people that I started watching in 2019, I am so happy for them. Like, this is beyond me as a fan of the club and what that brings to me and what invincibility that gives me and bragging rights. I'm just so happy that they got it, because not everybody can win a World Cup. Not everybody can win. Obviously, there's no way in hell Katie McCabe was going to win a Euros with Ireland, but they won the trophy, the one that nobody can take away. And yeah, that's fine. Chelsea can win 6 in a row. Oh, that's cute. Hold my beer, quite literally, probably from Katie McCabe. And she wins the Champions League, or they win the Champions League. So I am happy for us as fans, but I am overwhelmingly happier for them as people and women to do this. And the amount of people they're going to motivate and empower, it's going to be hopefully like the Lionesses in the Euros. This might be that at club level, which is what's needed. Like Vic Acres said, up and down the league and not just the top 4.
Well said. Let's get that WSL, man.
We need that. Oh, man, we need that.
Let's get that back, man. 100%. So
you're muted.
Right, I was talking to Tony because she's going to Trader Joe's, and
I
I'm making orzo, so I need some stuff for my my orzo. Plus, I realized I turned sideways and I'm having like one of those really bad hair days where you just tie it up and who knows. Anyway, too much in TMI. Let's get back to what's important.
You know what's important? People in England that don't realize that parking lots at Trader Joe's grocery stores are a war zone. They are a complete war zone. At least they are in Los Angeles. I don't know where you are.
It's a bit like that at Marks and Spencer's food, you know, Tesco's, the small Tesco's in London. Sometimes it's really impossible to find, you know, parking there. You guys are getting a lot of love from everyone, calling you superstars. Everyone is just, Trader Joe's is not snooty.
No, it's the cheapest.
Trader Joe's is the people's place,
That's
man.
right. It's the cheapest spot. He goes to Erewhon or something.
Yeah, Erewhon. Oh my God, where it's $35 for one potato. Jeez, because it was grown in some type of mud.
Yeah.
Not mud. What do they call it? The stuff.
Yeah, the
earth.
Yes, the earth. Yeah.
Anyway,
some planet, different planet.
I just wanted to say thank you so much to you two. What I said to Vic, and I wanted him to know that men supporting the women's game is one of the main reasons the women's game grew. And I cherish you two. And thank you so much for all of your contributions to Highbury Squad this season. I know our Ask the Women show is going to be bigger and better next season. We're going to go for the jugular. There's going to be a lot of exciting things happening on Highbury Squad next season too. It has been a long season. It feels like it's gone on for 2 seasons, in fact. And the women winning the Champions League really made up for all of the other heartache. We really needed it because going into this summer with nubbin, that would have been really tough. And so let's keep the machine going. Squaddies, you know how I feel about you. Come on now. Without you, there wouldn't be a Highbury Squad. And thank you to the squaddies who show up for the women's game. It means the world to me. I know it means the world to these guys as well. As a woman, it especially means so much to me because, you know, we've been trying year on year to grow our women's shows. And I feel like we're in a really good place now. It was our first watch along. Albert, well done for pushing for that. Can't tell you we're going to do that a lot. We're going to do it for big games. All right.
Yeah. We'll pick and choose.
We'll pick and choose.
Yeah. But
there were over 4,000 of you that watched that. I mean, that was so much progress. It's just a really, really beautiful, beautiful thing. And all that we need now is to rest and recuperate. It is going to be a long summer. There's going to be a lot of stories. I can't promise you I'm going to be doing transfer shows left, right, and center, but I will be doing shows with really interesting stories. I'll let you know about that in the coming days. Our unscripted series will be back. I thought, let's put the kibosh on that for now and save it for the summer. Arsenal fan stories from 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 10s, 20s as well. Things that will nourish our soul and make us and just remind us why we love this club so much. So look out for that over the summer as well. And that's it. That's all I've got time for tonight. I hope you enjoyed the double bill. Sophie, I'm going to take a few, a little, I think we're no more shows for this week. Okay. I'm going to go to Cyprus actually to see my dad flying out Malacca. It's so funny how Greek friends teach all the bad words.
It's awful.
Malacca's the first word that you
it's the easiest one to pronounce.
Please tell your friends about this show in particular with Vic Acres. Amazing. And if you missed the Get Off the Potsy earlier, to talk about contrasting, who said it? You guys said it. Different content for everybody. Yeah. Right. So we got Potsy on today. The great Vic Acres. If you missed the show with Definitely Ben Jacobs as well, please go check that out. Some phenomenal insights on transfers and how they work. And of course, we had the great Keith Hackett on with Tom last night too. So hopefully that will fill your boots. Until the next time, remember, don't forget to tell your loved ones you love them. Squaddies, I love you so much. I love these knuckleheads too. And at ease, everyone, at ease.
At ease.
At ease, innit? Innit?
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Damn, giveaways. I had giveaways. Oh, you know what? We'll do it next week because Jamie just reminded me she has a giveaway. Thank you. Thanks, Chief Like Officer. You get a special shout out. Love you. Well done for keeping all this lot in check. And to all the regulars, you know who you are. Love you tons. We'll do giveaways next time. I promise.